And hello, Savannah. Thanks for tuning into WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. Thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday. I am so glad to be here. Thanks for listening. You just reached the hump of hump day. I always have to say that. The rest of the week is going to be just easy breezy, easy and fun. So you only have half a day today, Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be a great rest of the week. And we have beautiful weather out there. So if you're driving out there, just step outside and take a deep breath, because we have such a great city out here. Enjoy it. And you have actually just tuned into Real Estate Real Talk with myself, Julia M. Spencer. Welcome. And in today's episode, we're going to be answering more subscriber questions about real estate, about investing, about landlord laws, about anything and everything related to real estate. And I will get my questions ready here for you in just a moment. And in the meantime, enjoy the song with me by Joris, Signal. Signal by Joris, German performer here. Thanks for letting me share my playlist here with you, and happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me here with Real Estate Real Talk. My name is Julia M. Spencer, and I am going to answer some subscriber questions. I do have a YouTube channel, so this is where I get most of my questions from. Thank you so much for having tuned in, and hopefully you stay on for the next hour while I have the dials in this microphone. So let's get to the questions right away here. I'm trying to get my bearing here on a Wednesday afternoon. So I have a lot of videos out there on YouTube that talk about tax sale foreclosures, because that's what I kind of do as a hobby. It kind of turned into a full-time hobby. Well, full-time pay for half-time work, which is kind of like what I do on the side. I'm also an Airbnb host right here in the city of Savannah, and I do anything and everything related to real estate, and I have basically just spread whatever knowledge I have out there to other investors or wannabe investors and kind of help people out. So this is also kind of what my show is about. So today's questions are just basically pulled from my YouTube channel. You can actually look me up. My name is Julia M. Spencer, so you can just search and see the videos yourself and also the questions and answers. I am at the point, though, I have so many videos out there, I don't always have time to answer every single question or comment. So this is why I'm really glad I have this radio show here and I can share my expertise here. And also, if you missed the show, or if you're just tuning in and you kind of missed half of it, or you don't have time to listen to the whole thing, I do publish these shows on YouTube as well. You can also listen to them on the WRUU.org website, where they also will be posted at a later time. So you never miss anything. You can always check it out. And you can always reach me at realestate@juliamspencer.com if you have any additional questions, or you have a twist to a specific investing question or any kind of real estate related question, I can probably help you. And if I cannot help you, I will find somebody that can help you. And I do this because it is tons of fun for me. And what is more fun to me too is that I'm here on the radio. So this is also very fun to me. And for that purpose, I will actually be right here on the air twice today. So right here, this noon hour is my regular Wednesday show from 12 to 1. But tonight, I will also be hosting The Box from midnight until 1 a.m. So don't forget to tune in then as well. Hopefully, you're still awake. And we're going to be rocking out at that time. So let's get to some questions. I love talking about real estate. So one of my subscribers, Alex Reynoso, actually asked a very good question. He is asking, how much does an attorney charge to file foreclosure or the right of redemption, to foreclose on the right of redemption of the original owners? And he's asking specifically in the state of Arizona. And this comment or question was left on one of my videos about how tax lien foreclosures work right here in Chatham County. I obviously live right here in Chatham County in the state of Georgia, so the laws are specific to the state of Georgia for the most part for what I talk about. But in terms of how much an attorney charges to file a foreclosure or to foreclose on the right of redemption of the original owners in the state of Arizona, those laws and rules are probably going to be about the same. So we're going to talk a little bit about what attorneys charge. And incidentally, I actually had to speak to my attorney today about a separate unrelated matter. So and I can tell you that the attorneys that charge for barring of redemption rights or foreclose on the redemption rights of the original owner when you purchase like a tax sale foreclosure. It's a not very big amount. And I have worked with several attorneys to help me do that. Here in Savannah in Chatham County, you can probably expect to pay around $1,000. It's usually not more than $1,000 per property, but it can also be a little bit more. It could be a little bit less. It just depends. Whenever I had a property where I was borrowing redemption rights of the original owner that was just unimproved real estate, in other words, did not have a building on it, the price that the attorney charged me was in general a lot lower than what improved property had cost me. Now, I don't know if that was a coincidence. It kind of like has always been the case, but I don't know if that's coincidence or not. And it kind of more depends on how many people have to be notified that you're trying to foreclose on them, because they all have to be served by the sheriff, which costs money to send them out. And, of course, mailing and all these other things are fixed costs that an attorney has to spend in order to do this foreclosure process. And that is kind of what depends on how much money you're going to pay for that foreclosure. But I would definitely, in your mind, kind of get the idea, if you have the plan to purchase a tax sale foreclosure and at the end of redemption period, the original owner didn't come back and buy it back from you, that you would then probably have to go out and hire an attorney. And generally, you can count with around $1,000 per property. In a few cases, I've paid a little bit more. Most times it's a little bit less, but it's right around $1,000. So kind of calculate that into your profit margin when you go into these investment deals. I always tell people not to go to the max of what their budget is when they go to the tax sale foreclosure auctions. Leave a little bit money aside for the attorney costs, for the legal expenses that you'll have to do. And by the way, a lot of you out there are like, well, if I'm going to purchase a property for $500-800, I don't want to spend another amount just the same for an attorney. That doesn't seem like it's worth it. Can't I just do the borrowing of redemption rights all on my own? And yes, you can do any kind of legal action in the United States all on your own without the help of an attorney. But as you maybe remember, maybe you don't, but I had an attorney right here on our show recently, Mr. Ron Christopher, and he was doing the same thing I was doing, tax sale foreclosure investing, and he was doing all this paperwork for borrowing of redemption rights and quiet title actions all on his own. Of course, he's an attorney. He has the experience, the knowledge, the know-how, the access to the systems, and basically is in the middle of it anyway. So it doesn't make sense for him to hire somebody else to do it for him. And of course, he's saving himself a lot of money that way. And his profit margin thus is also higher than maybe a normal person like myself or another investor. But we both discussed even on the show, and I believe the show was aired on March 7th, so you can go back in WRU.org website and look it up, that it's not very beneficial to you as a normal non-attorney person to do this work yourself. And I'm not advocating that you should go out and spend tons of money on an attorney or a lawyer to do this for you. I'm just saying that you have to meet certain requirements and certain things and do things in a certain order, step-by-step process. It's a little bit bureaucratic. It's a little bit involved. And what that means is that it's very easy for a normal layperson to make a mistake. So, and what that means is it might not mean anything. It might be just fine. You make a mistake and you're borrowing redemption rights. The original owner doesn't care anyways. You'll have the property. You hold it for a couple of years and nothing happens. But if something does happen and the original owner, somebody will change their mind and all of a sudden want this property back from you, they can go through your step-by-step process that you've used, saving yourself the attorney costs, doing all this work yourself, and find mistakes. And it's might be likely, or it's possible, that he or she can then go and basically go to a judge, in front of a judge, and say, hey, this wasn't done right. Can you give me my property back? I've never seen this happen. It's only a very small percentage that this may happen, but if this looms in the back of your head, or if you significantly invest in the property, this is something that you definitely need to keep in mind. The more money you put into an investment project, into a real estate property, the the more you want to assure that that property never leaves your hands again, unless, of course, you want to sell it yourself, but that nobody comes to claim it or make any kind of requirements on it later on. So you want to make sure that you do all your steps on your side the right way. Basically, get all your ducks in a row and basically do everything the right way so nobody can take from you what's yours in the end. That's really what we're all looking for. And that was my first question here for my show for Real Estate Real Talk. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to find another really good question here. And in the meantime, I'm going to play you by Cut Copy, Memories We Share. And that's Cut Copy, Memories We Share. Thanks for listening to my playlist here on this Wednesday afternoon. You're listening to Real Estate Real Talk with Julia M. Spencer. And today we're answering questions from my subscribers on my YouTube channel on some of the investment things that I do. And this one was actually a really, really short question I wanted to briefly talk about. Here, the next one. It was on a video that was actually called Awesome Trick on How to Make Money at Tax Sale Foreclosure Auctions. This is kind of like an underhanded trick that I've learned from one of my graybeard investors, mentors. And it's actually probably very useful. We got a phone ringing. Okay, hold on, my dear listeners here. We have, there you go. We are on the air, and we will answer the phone call after this section here. But what I wanted to talk about is this awesome trick on how to make money at tax sale foreclosure auctions. And this trick was taught to me by a graybeard investor out in Las Vegas. And he's done this recently and a long time ago when he was kind of just starting off. And it's kind of like a cool thing because it kind of takes you out of the regular scheme of thinking of how to make money with real estate. It's more like money and paper shuffling, which is not really well explained in a lot of the real estate investing books that I've read and the people that I've talked to. It's kind of like these things that people do on the side. And then when they tell you all about it, you're like, I should have thought of that. Because it's a very good trick. So it may be something that you want to get into. Anyways, I'm just going to present it. It's a little bit wild. But basically what he does is he goes to these auctions and brings a little bit of money. Obviously, he's got, he's not a poor investor anymore. Maybe he used to be a long time ago, but he's very, very wealthy and has the means. So he goes to these auctions and tries to buy tax sale foreclosures, whether it be a deed or a lien auction, doesn't matter, and brings money to purchase a couple, of course. And then he basically bids on some of the properties. So if it is a bid up type of auction, basically there's a basic price and he'll come in and bid a higher price and somebody else outbids him, and it goes back and forth until the final price is reached and he's the winner. And now, mind you, he doesn't really want this property. He just wants to bid on the ones that other people bid on. And the price is, let's say the starting bid was maybe $3,000. Final price is maybe like 10. Let's say it's about $10,000. And what he will then do, and he's done this throughout this whole auction process where other people were bidding against him, he kind of takes note and pays attention who bid against him and how much. And at times, he's actually brought in other people to help him watch the rest of the bidders in the crowd that are bidding at a particular auction, and kind of makes notes. And he specifically basically asks the first in line loser behind him, that was the last person that bid against him, but then he outbid him and won the final bid, basically. So right after the auction, he finds that person, approaches them, and basically says, hey, I won this property that you and I bid against, and you lost it. You're a first in line loser. Do you still want this property? And if you do, let's sign this property over to you right now. We'll go to the bank. You'll get the funds to pay for it, and you'll pay me a small fee, and I'll give it to you. And he would regularly make $500, maybe $1,000, and the work involved is minimum. I mean, it really is minimum. Of course, you have a couple of risks there because it could be that person says, no, I don't want it anymore. But then his next strategy is basically to go to the third in line loser and ask them, and just go down the line, everybody that bid against him, until he finds somebody that wants it, and basically just knocks that property off to him or her with a small fee set aside for this investor. And this is kind of like a little bit of a dirty trick, a little bit of an interesting trick, something that I've learned being on the floor here in the ditches, basically working my real estate investing craft. I thought it was really interesting. Wanted to share that with you. And the question that I had on that particular video and that different process here was, how much money does he take with him? It all just depends. I mean, it just depends on what the starting amounts are for these properties and how many he actually wants to get into. Depends on the county, on the state. It just depends. Here in the state of Georgia and Chatham County, you can get properties for as cheap as $1,000 sometimes even less than that. Generally, the good ones go for over $10,000, anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 is what I've seen. And then, of course, there's the really high-end tickets that sell for almost as much as they're worth in the market. And that's going to lead us to our next question here. But we are already at the half point of my show here. And it's unbelievable how fast time goes when I'm here at WRUU. Dear listeners, this is the happiest place to be. I hope that you enjoy listening to me as much as I enjoy talking to you. And until the next moment here, I'm going to just play you some announcements at the half hour, and I'll be right back.
I'm Rob Hessler.
And I'm David Laughlin.
Now through September 14th, Location Gallery hosts 300 and Under, an art show to benefit WRUU Savannah Soundings 107.5 FM.
300 and Under. Is that shekels or drachma? Are we talking yen, big stones? What are we doing here?
This exhibition features affordable artwork by over 40 artists, many of whom have appeared on our show, Art on the Air, which you can listen to right here every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m.
We have the noise, and Location Gallery at 417 Whitaker Street has sights to behold. What's more, visitors can purchase unique Savannah art from there, which benefits this radio station and our creative community. Stop by and check out this opportunity while it lasts and see a unique varietal display of what Savannah has to offer. With this fundraiser, you can bring art home and listen to WRUU FM 107.5 on the way. It's all good.
Location Gallery is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information can be found by searching 300 and Under on Facebook.
WRUU brings you the most diverse and passionate local radio programming on the air in Savannah. This all-volunteer and nonprofit community radio station accepts no money from any form of government. Our diversity and independence is made possible only through the generous financial support of listeners like you. We rely on your annual and ongoing monthly contributions to cover the many costs associated with bringing you our broadcasts and our web programming. If you are a contributor, thank you. If you're not yet a contributor, please show your appreciation of the role WRUU plays in your life by becoming a contributor in any amount. You can donate quickly and easily by credit card or check. Just find the donate and subscribe links at WRUU.org. Thanks for listening to and supporting WRUU.
The Ogeechee Riverkeeper offers monthly canoe and kayak excursions in all of the river's watershed through October. This year's paddles will take adventurers from the river's twisting and turning northern sections near Wadley, west of Augusta, to broad coastal stretches near Harris Neck, south of Savannah. The trips range from beginner to intermediate in difficulty. Boat rental is available. For more information, visit OgeecheeRiverkeeper.org. WRUU 107.5 FM is all volunteer community radio. Tune in this afternoon. From 3 to 4, Rob Hessler and David Laughlin present Art on the Air, an interview program dedicated to the visual arts in Savannah. From 4 to 6, Louis Clousey and Matthew Adams present That Old Savannah Magic, a variety show featuring Savannah history, radio theater, interviews, and music. From 6 to 7, Barbara Humphreys and Albert Strickland present Voices of Resistance, giving voice to justice and peace activists with no other voice in the Savannah media. Find our full schedule at WRUU.org.
And hello, Savannah. Thanks for tuning into Real Estate Real Talk with Julia M. Spencer. Thanks for having stayed on with me here. I got another 20 minutes here of my show, and we got a lot of questions we still need to answer. And I'm taking all of these, by the way, from my YouTube channel. You can check that out yourself if you like. It's just my name, Julia M. Spencer. And let's check and see what else we had coming in this week. I get questions quite a bit, so it's kind of very interesting, some of the comments that I get. And it's actually also very interesting, by the way, dear listeners, to read some of the hate mail too. I actually enjoy that as well. So I guess whenever you go out there in public and you start spreading some words, people will either hate you or love you, and sometimes they're in the middle, but you get both extremes, so I kind of enjoy that as well. Kind of got used to fighting for just enjoying the comments and reading that, and kind of giving witty responses. So if you have ever a chance or a moment you want to check that out, you probably will be quite entertained. So in any case, let's get... Actually, I was going to follow up on something else that we just talked about, how to make quick money at the tax sale foreclosure auction. Another way that I always tell people that go to these tax sale foreclosure auctions, and a lot of people miss this opportunity, is to go to the second date sale. And a lot of auction people do this, and a lot of tax commissioners and property assessors that auction off property have usually a second date where they auction off the properties that are either unsold or have not been paid on the first go around. And sometimes those auctions happen on the same day of the original auction, probably like at 2 in the afternoon or something. And at other times they're the next day. So a lot of people, all right, they're at the end of the auction. The list, all the properties have been called. The ones that have changed hands have changed hands. The unsold ones went back into the county or city or whatever pot. And now there's another auction coming up. So a lot of people just kind of go home because they bid on what they wanted to, and there's nothing left that they want. But I always encourage investors that go to these auctions to also go to the second date sale. So if you're going to another city to invest, stick around for an extra day. If there's another auction on the same day for that same county, make sure you stick around downtown. Here in Savannah, it's usually on the same day, later on in the afternoon. And that is basically to recry the properties out for bid that have not been paid, or there was a no bid. And we, believe it or not, right here in Chatham County, there's a lot of properties that go to this no bid list usually. And I always watch who buys what, who paid what for what. And I always go to the second part of the auction to see what's left. And you can get some really good deals there. I definitely would recommend that if you're a new investor and this is something you want to get into, to always schedule yourself enough time to go to both of these auctions. Now, talking about that, there is one particular auction that I went to one time in Clark County in Nevada and Las Vegas. And the second day auction, there's another trick there that was used. I'm going to just kind of share that trick with you. But what happened is they would have the officials, the city official or the county officials, in that case it was Clark County, you would have to register for this auction formally. You have to pay $1,000 down payment, basically, or like an amount to actually even just register for this auction. And you would get a number sent in the mail. You have to do this a couple weeks ahead of time. And then you show up and you bid, and you use your little number, hold it up whenever a property is going up for bid. And if you win it, your number will be registered as a person that won the bid. So I had some graybeard investors that did this trick, another really, really interesting trick that I've not shared in a lot of places. But basically what they've done is they would, these investors would hire a bunch of people, maybe like 5 or 10 other people. And this is kind of a dirty trick here, my dear listeners, so bear with me here. Not illegal, but it's not very, I don't know, maybe not very ethical. I'm not judging here. I didn't participate, so I'm just sharing the information. But basically, they would sign up 5-6 people, and each one of those persons would then pay their $1,000 entry fee to get into this auction. So the graybeard investor, the no kidding, front man of this operation would then go to the auction with his 5 or 6 disciples who have all gotten a bidding number, including the investor himself, and would sit in different places in the auction room. And the individual properties were then being called. And the assignment of the disciple bidders, the sub-bidders of this main investor, it was their job to bid up the price as high as possible so they would win the property. So in that case, that particular auction that I went to, there was actually a condo on the Las Vegas Strip that was going up for sale. Starting bid was $30,000. I believe it went up to about $180,000, which was at the time, this was several years back, at the time that was fair market value for that condo. I think it was a 1 or 2 bedroom condo on the Strip in one of the big hotels there, right there on the Strip. I can't remember which one. And so the price went up to fair market value of that property, and actually even a little bit higher. And all right, so what happened is this graybeard investor directed his disciples to bid on these properties that he wanted and bid up the price as high as possible. And in the end, that particular disciple investor, it was his responsibility. His number was written down as the winning bidder, and it was his responsibility to then go off and get money to pay for that one bid. Now, at this point, the disciple was paid, I don't know, maybe $100 or whatever, and sent home. And he was not required, of course, to pay for his bid. And that particular property then went for no payment, in the no payment pile. So basically, a property that was bid on was won and was not paid for. And the disciple bidder was given, a couple of $100 or maybe $100 and sent home. And so what happens now is, this is the first auction day, and there was maybe like 100 people in the auction room. And these people, all, of course, Las Vegas being a high-end area for auctions, are visited by bidders from all over the country: New York, Boston, Los Angeles, obviously out there out west, and they're all coming in that day to go to this auction. And after the first day, after everything was bid on and won, they go home. So my graybeard investor shows up the second day, of course knows that some of the properties that he wanted were won and not paid for, because it was his disciple bidders that bid on them. Then subsequently understands that now the bidding pool of the people bidding in the room that remained for the second day only stayed for about 20, maybe 25 showed up out of the maybe 100 or 200 bidders that were there the first day. So now the property is, of course, going to be cried again. And since the competition is now much lower, the price didn't go up as high. The price went to about, I believe, $80,000 or $90,000. So you get this really nice condo on the Las Vegas Strip, fair market value, $180,000. Starting bid $30,000. You got it for $80,000 or $85,000, which is quite a good deal. And that, my dear listeners here in Savannah, is one of the many, many tricks that I've learned from some very, very experienced graybeard investors that I know that shall remain unnamed on this show. And I always invite you to ask me questions. I got a couple more tricks here up my sleeve. I'm not going to share them all right here on the show. But if you do want to have more information, you can always go on my website. It's juliamspencer.com. Of course, my YouTube channel has all these videos for free that you can watch. And you can always ask me questions. Just send me an email, realestate@juliamspencer.com. I work here at the station WRUU as a volunteer. I share my information, my knowledge with you, because this is what I love to do, and love being a radio host or love being a DJ. And for that purpose, we're going to play you one more song, and maybe we'll get to maybe one more question, possibly. We'll see. And this one is from a band that I really, really love. It's New Order, and the name of the song is Dream Attack. And that was New Order, Dream Attack, one of the songs on my current playlist right here. And thanks for having stayed on with me for Real Estate Real Talk here at WRUU-LP. And on our show today, we were just answering some questions. I want to just add one more little thing here to this last question that I answered. And that was what actually happened to this person that bid and basically defaulted on this bid, this disciple bidder. And the answer is nothing. They just went home, and the county kept $1,000 that was used to sign them up. And my graybeard investors, of course, they calculate that money into their bidding procedures and their strategies. So that is their collateral expense that they plan to spend in any case. So I don't know if anybody from Clark County in Nevada is listening. I'm pretty sure people know that's going on, and they pretty much expect to collect those fees, and those people just disappear on them. In any case, let's fit in one more quick question, because this is a really, really quick one, hopefully. And then I'm unfortunately going to be signing off. But you know what? Even though I am gone, you can always reach me at realestate@juliamspencer.com. I love to hear your questions. You can actually even let me know. I'll bring you on the show if you have some good conversation topics that you think we should discuss. All right, let's get to this one last question here. Is it true that you can purchase a tax lien, for example, $500, and property is worth $50,000? Then go to the bank and get a loan for $50,000 if your credit is good? That's a good question. Yes, you can do that, and that is true. However, it's not as fast and as simple. And the reason being is that, first off, getting a tax lien for $500, that's pretty much on the very low end. You're not going to get a whole lot of good property that's worth $50,000 for that. It's just going to be too much competition, and depending where you are, of course. And yes, the property may be worth $50,000 according to what you think, but you got to convince an appraiser to write you an appraisal that appraises the property for that amount as well. And you can go to the bank and get a loan for $50,000 if your credit is good, but your credit is not really going to be the issue. The issue is going to be, can you or can you not get title insurance on that particular property? Because whenever you purchase a property at a tax deed or tax lien auction, first off, at the tax lien auction, of course, you got to go through some legal processes to make that property, no kidding, yours and get possession to it. But if you actually purchase it at a deed sale and the property is yours, then the title is kind of tainted in the eyes of the law. So it is always better to do a quiet title afterwards. That's yet another legal action that will take several months and cost a little bit of money. And after that, then you'll be able to purchase title insurance. And that's when the banks will start to get interested in you. Before title insurance, I don't think there's going to be a lot of banks that want to finance you. So all these steps and all of this is actually explained in my ebooks and also in my videos. So you can always check them out there. You can check my previous radio shows that I've recorded and put on the WRUU.org website. And also ask me questions. I'm here to answer your questions. If you're an investor thinking about real estate investing, or you have some properties, or if you're a landlord, I'd be glad to talk to you. Just send me an email and I'll get back with you. My email, of course, realestate@juliamspencer.com. I'd love to talk to you. And a little bit more advertisement here in my own area here. I will also be hosting another show tonight at WRUU right here. I think I'll be the last DJ here, signing off the station here at midnight. I'll be on from midnight till 1 a.m. I'm going to be hosting The Box. I've never hosted that show before, so I'm going to be rocking. And hopefully you can tune in. Support the station if you can. We're an all-volunteer station, of course. We always accept donations. And check out our programming on the WRUU.org website. Hopefully, actually, not hopefully, but you will most likely find something that you love. We have so many different music genres and conversation topics and talk shows and interviews. I mean, there's something there for everybody. So this is such a great place to be. So glad that you have tuned in. I'm glad that I can talk to you. And I hope, really, really hope that you have an awesome, awesome rest of your Wednesday. I'm going to have a great rest of the week. I hope you'll have the same. And I'm going to be signing off with one of my 60s songs here on my playlist. And it is by Castaways, Liar, Liar.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.